with you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Izzat bin Abdul Malik. I am from DLI 4A, DLI 5A. Okay, today I'm going to present about analog signal. Okay, thank you to Mr. Ismail for being a good lecturer. Okay, we start with I'm going to start with my introduction. Okay, an analog signal is any continuous signal. Okay, it is like a sound wave, or we call it the analog signal. Okay, analog to another time varying signal. For example, in analog audio signal, the instantaneous voltage of signals varies continuously with the pressure of the sound wave. Okay, it can create the sound wave with the analog signal. Okay, in contrast, a digital signal represent the original time varying quantity as a example sequence of quantized value. Okay, this impose some bandwidth and dynamic range that represent the analog signal. Okay, the term analog signal usually refer to electrical signal. Okay, however, mechanical, pneumatic, hydraulic, and other system may also convey or be considered as the analog signal. Okay, for the analog signal background, analog signal use some property of the medium to convey the signal information. For example, an analog barometer, okay, use rotary position as the signal to convey pressure information. In an electrical signal, the voltage, current, or frequency of the signal may be varied to represent the information. Okay, any information may be conveyed by an analog signal, such as signal may be a measure response to change in physically variable, such as sound, light, temperature, position, or pressure. The physical variable is converted to an analog, induces corresponding fluctuation in the current produced by an coil in electromagnetic microphone, or the voltage produced by the condenser microphone. The voltage or the current is said to be an analog of the sound. Okay, the sample. An analog signal is subject to electronic noise. So it is like what we said from the introduction. It has its own sound wave. Okay, the distortion introduced by communication channel recording and signal processing operation, which can progressively degrade the signal to noise ratio SNR. It called SNR. Okay, as the signal is transmitted, copied, or processed, the unavoidable noise introduced in the signal path will accumulate as a generation loss. Okay, the noise can show up as an intermodulation distortion in audio signal or snow in video signal. Generation loss is irreversible, as there is no reliable method to distinguish the noise from the signal. Okay, in contrast, although converting an analog signal to digital form introduce a low-level quantization noise into the signal due to finite resolution to compress all the uh, digital to signal to be the finite resolution of digital system. Okay, once digital system form, the signal can be transmitted and stored or processed without introducing significant additional noise or distortion. Okay, noise accumulation in analog system can be minimized by electromagnetic shielding balance lines. Okay, low noise amplifiers and high quality electric component. In analog system, it is difficult to detect when such degradation occur. However, in digital system, the degradation can not only be deducted by corrected as well. Okay, for the input and output of use in the analog system. Okay, analog signal are different from digital signal. An analog signal is like a dimmer switch on a light, where a digital signal is like a simple on and off switches. Okay, analog signal are continuous value, which mean they can be an infinite number of different voltage. Think of analog signal like a floating point or fractional number that can smoothly transisting to any in between value like 1.8 volt, 1.81 volt, and so forth to infinity. Okay, many devices use analog signal. In particular, sensor typically output an analog signal or voltage that varies based on something sense like light, heat, humidity. Some example of sensor with analog output are we always know as the microphone and the photocell. Photocell is being using the temperature, and it is like sensitive resistor. Okay, and also the temperature sensor. Okay, the difference between analog signal and digital signal. Digital signal by contrast express variation in the system variable in response to set a discrete value, more like a light with an on-off switches, or a three-way bulb with multiple discrete level of output. Okay. The example of analog signal. In theory, we can use the term analog signal to describe any continuous signal that use one time variable quantity to represent another, such as mechanical system like a dial thermometer. Okay, we use analog signal in a wide variety of applications such as audio recording and reproductive, live sound amplification devices, all the video signal transmission technologies. Okay, radio signal, and also television broadcast signal. Okay, for the conclusion, analog signal represent one continuous variable as the result of another continuous time-based variable. They are capable of outputting continuous information with a theoretically infinite number of possible value. Okay, we have seen analog signal in use of in nearly every type of signal processing and consumer electronic. Okay, application imaginable. In most cases, they have been replaced by digital version. Okay, though analog uh, processes are still common in the audio recording domain alongside digital recording equipment. Okay, that's all for me with my presentation with analog signal. Okay, thank you for giving me the chance to be more educative in process computer. Okay, thank you again, Mr. Ismail. Okay, assalamualaikum.
Kimmereni me down, so cheer, a fellow and clean about my heart. Kimmereni me down, so cheer,